and welcome to Sport Tonight. I'm Cecilia Mogbe, right here in Lagos Studios.
Spotty greetings to you wherever you are in the world watching us. In London, I'm Austin Okonapan.
All right, let's get started on the show. It's a loaded package. As usual, it's a Thursday edition, and we're starting off with the D Tigers. Well, when some players were talking about when you win tournaments under this current regime, you get $100,000. But it's not going to happen for the D Tigers after losing out to, of course, Senegal. We talked about that game on Tuesday and the potentials that what the Senegalese will do to ensure that they stop the D Tigers from progressing. And, of course, all those things actually happened. And now they are out of contention when it comes to title for Afrobasket. So that second title they're dreaming of will not happen. We'll also be talking about the Nigeria Premier Football League. It's starting on Friday, of course. The big game, which is starting up with, happens to be the game between Rivers United and Remo Stars right there at Abeokuta Stadium. We will be talking about that on the show tonight. And, of course, people are still talking about the money that the president, the gift from the president to the Super Falcons and also the D Tigers. But they said, well, it's in process. So it's in process. They will still get that money. We will be hearing from the person who you should be hearing the truth from, talking about the chairman of the National Sports Commission on the show tonight. And of course, yes, the English Premier League, yes, it started last weekend, and we have Friday's game for you. West Ham and Chelsea. West Ham starting their season at the Stadium of Light. Well, 3-0 it ended for them against Sunderland, newly promoted side. Chelsea was a goalless one, so we'll dwell on what these two teams can do, having two different fortunes when they started the season. We'll talk about that on the show tonight. Yes, it's a loaded package, but we're starting off with basketball. And right here in Lagos studio, Bulu Omoniyi is here with me.
Well, let me go back to the phrase I normally use. What a man can do, a woman can do better. If you don't believe that phrase at all, just follow Nigerian sport and you have to. We saw Falcons compared to Super Eagles. We saw D Tigers compared to D Tigers. And the last time D Tigers won their only title was the last time D Tigers lost at the women's Afrobasket, and it's been win upon win upon win. And yes, for football fans, they'll be telling the wives, please hand over the remote back, because the league football is back. And we saw excitement from last weekend. And believe me, this weekend will definitely serve us much. I'm sure we're going to have a jolly ride today.
Jolly ride it will be. And of course, joining us is, well, Femi Adefeso. I can't remember the last time we actually do this together. Femi Adefeso, it's great to have you on Sport Tonight.
It's always a delight, Cece. I'm excited to be in the studio with you this evening.
Yeah,
You look beautiful.
Thank you. Austin, of course, we're starting off with basketball. On the show, you're going to be hearing, the reasons why they lost. I mean, the coach will be explaining that to you. I'm not going to do that at all. But first, Femi, let me quickly start off with you before Austin will chip in. What do you think went wrong with D Tigers?
It's hard to evaluate, but I think the Senegalese guys wanted it more. We've beaten them the last couple of times. On our way, either in the quarterfinals or in the group phase or in the semi-finals. The last time we won the championship in 2015, it was a nerve-wracking encounter in the semi-finals where we beat them. A lot of people still say that was the final before the finals. And I remember sometime in Lagos, the year skips my memory now, during the qualifiers, when the window of the qualifiers was first introduced and we hosted them in Lagos, we beat them as well, black and blue. But it came this time around with, you could see from the jump ball, they were really ready. I also thought our last game, how we didn't manage our last quarter, sort of opened us up to some frailties, and he really touched on how the cohesion in terms of options on the offense we couldn't do. The Senegalese were bigger, they were stronger, they were faster, and the height was a problem for us. We just couldn't crack it. And the moment they blew us away in that second quarter, it was catch up all the way. So the guys, I'll give them all their kudos. I think they played to their best capacity. Very little times, of course, gain that cohesion. Big ups to that man on the screen, Okoje. Josh Okogie was, I think, phenomenal throughout the tournament. But unfortunately, we just didn't have enough to beat the Senegalese side. We were very, very prepared. They've been on this journey for months. Unlike us. So I think we met a better prepared side and a team that was just more hungry to win on the day.
More hungry. Austin, you remember we talked about their height, right? I mean, when they faced Sudan, we could see what the Senegalese could do. And the coach said something that had happened after that first quarter when we were exchanging leads. 7 times, I think that's how many times it happened. You know, they had to call a timeout, and he told them that, look, we need to work on defense. And that actually happened for them.
You know, Cecilia, we say in basketball analysis that offensive play can win you games, but defense will win you championships, you know. So that was, Femi wrapped it up so well. We knew that size was going to count, but Coach Abdurrahman and his team, they didn't just, you know, find a way to, you know, ensure that it wasn't going to be a problem. The Senegalese team overall, they were good. But let's be sincere, only two players really turned up, Badio and Boissy. And they combined so well for 50 points because they just saw it like those lapses where you know, using, particularly with the rebounds, they got solid with it. But shout out to Badji, also was a wall for the Senegalese team. Quite a testament of who wants it more got it, you know, on the day. The mentality was right. Bolu, let me give it to you because I think Senegal losing to Egypt in the group phase was a good wake-up call also. The D Tigers, for instance, had a good run all through the group phase. They never even trailed at all. Even at halftime, they were just, you know, blowing out teams. Do you think that was part of what affected them?
Well, one interesting thing about sports is when you drop early, if you pick yourself up, it helps your inspiration, it helps your ginger to go further. If they had a jolly ride all through like the Tigers, maybe could have had a difference. We wouldn't even have met each other at this stage if they went on a jolly ride all through. Like Femi rightly said, the Senegalese wanted it more. Probably complacency set in again for the Tigers. At some points where they were chasing the 3-point, I said to myself, go for the easy work. Just get, if you go for 3 3-pointers, that's 9 points. If you go for 5 2-pointers, you get 10. Just get your points because I saw the statistics. We got more field goal attempts than they did. But they got more points than Nigeria. It means they wanted it more. We had many turnovers, and in the end, it worked in favor of Senegal. I really wish they could go further. Probably, you know, that feeling of too much thousands of dollars a day. Unfortunately, they cannot get it. But you still have to give kudos to Senegal. They did their homework. They knew what our bot would be. They worked on it. Unfortunately, it feels like what we worked on did not work out well for the Tigers.
Femi, let me come to you again. I mean, there's a question I need to ask you. You know, 2 players were responsible for 53 points. The total number of points they scored was actually 91. But just 2 players had 53. And Austin mentioned one of them who had 32. I mean, he had an MVP performance. Do you think our failure to actually put a man on him, because they put someone on Josh Okoje because of what Josh did against Tunisia, they put a man on him. I mean, they defended him well that he couldn't even have chance to throw those threes he did against Tunisia. Do you think that actually also played a crucial role?
I mean, in basketball, once a man is on fire, it's like there's nothing he can do wrong, right? And that was the case for the young man on the night. I felt like when Bulu mentioned the fact that we're not going for 2s and 3s, it was because of the size. Those guys blocked the pains. They were scared of getting blocked. But truthfully, they should have still attacked the basket and found more creative ways to get those buckets in. Because if you're not scoring, you know, and your opponents are scoring, you're gradually getting into a hole. Then you get frustrated, then you try to shoot 3-pointers even when they are tough shots or bad shots. And that was what we saw the Tigers consistently do. I think on the night, those 2 guys were the guys on fire. Their coaches understood what was going on. And you could see they had predominant possession of the ball. So just feed them. You know, they didn't mind whatever happened. Shoot that ball. If it doesn't go in, no problem. We'll also for the rebound. If we don't get it, we'll make a stop on the other side. And so the coach realized, and I think the entire Senegalese team realized the momentum, you know, Badio was on, you know, and so that was how they played us, quite honestly. It was very difficult for us to adjust against them. The size was a huge disadvantage. Kyle is the only guy who plays from inside, and 3-pointers is not something we are really great at. Let me confess, rather. Let's be sincere. It's not our strongest point in playing. But all in all, I think it speaks also to you know, the tinkering we had on the bench as well. Because when all options were off, you know, we should have come up with something different. Yeah, maybe change the matchups on defense. You know, switch and do all of those things and try to see who can slow them down. So, in basketball, if players go on fire like that, you can't stop them, but you slow them down, you allow them work extra, before they get the bucket. So they get tired and maybe they ask for a sub or, they start making mistakes because of fatigue and things like that. Those are the tactical ways you use in stopping players who are almost unstoppable on the night. Yeah.
I was just looking at the team and I was saying that who didn't turn up? Who is that player that you'd have said if he had a good game, it would have, turned things around for us?
To be fair, we've had trickles here there. Okoye has been like the guy that has been the most consistent for us, right? During the group stage. I thought he had an underwhelming game yesterday, in my own opinion. Because if you look at the amount of points, he always puts up. No, I'm not bashing him in any way. Nwamu had 15 points. I think that was like, highest we had, which was pretty low. And if you look at it too, Austin, if you look at our games, you see that Okoye is the only guy who actually speaks over 20, 25, 30 points, 32. All the other guys are single digits, middle digits. So he has been the one carrying all the offense, which is something that was, I think, very suspicious, and I think most teams did their own work on, right? Just make him work hard, and if he's on an off night, it's not going to work. I think overall, I'll pick him out. I also think because Kyle didn't have enough, that's a Yogu now, say I call him Kyle. Didn't have enough support on the inside. It was also tough for him to give us those flashes that he was using to dominate the other teams as well. I also thought maybe if he also, add, a more, interesting game in terms of dominance and the ability to score, it would have created some kind of problem for the Senegalese defense in such a way that they will want to, muscle him out, and so he will leave one or two players, on the wings to be able to shoot. People like Josh, people like Nwamu, Okoye as well. Was quite disappointing as well, all through. So I think overall it was a very underwhelming game for the entire team. Because if you look at it, it's not been like a team effort. It's been one or two guys, springing up and doing all the damage. Agada, facilitating, Okoye scoring the point, Nwamu coming here, Okoye coming here, but the Senegalese guys were just better on the night. And trust me, this is years of planning. Nigeria has always beaten Senegal, at this stage. So they really meant defeating Nigeria this year. I know their general manager, Matandae, who, we always exchange jibes and, we troll ourselves once in a while. And he was telling me that, look, they've actually been planning for the Afrobasket months ahead. They've called camp, they've gone on a training tour in France, just to, come out this year, because they feel like they've, always come so close, and yet they've not been able to win it. So this time they really invested time and try to get the best players they can get to come out for this, which of course is not the case with us. We had very shoddy preparation. I don't think this is the best talent Nigeria can produce to play at the Afrobasket as well. So we must give kudos to the boys and the coaching staff for making the most of what they had at this time. But they just made it better Senegal this time overall.
Right, let's take a listen to the coach, Mohamed Abdurrahman, what he had to say after the game.
In a night, we're supposed to come out with a game. We fell short. I give credit to Senegal. They played very well. They had classes in almost every department of the game. I think they deserve to win. We didn't just play well enough to win. We didn't play our style. A lot of things just went wrong. We had a game plan. Keep them out of our paint, keep them out of, getting offensive rebounds, and then make sure, we slow them down in their transition. But it didn't work that way. That's just how basketball is. In the game of basketball, the team that make a better adjustment in the course of the game is the team that's obviously gonna win the game. I think they just make better adjustment. Whatever it is that happened after that timeout, they make the better adjustment. Don't get me wrong, I'm not happy we lost, but I'm still proud of how we play. In a long time now, we've been able to know our identity as a team. We fell short today, but it's just part of the process. And now we understand what we need to do, going forward, to build a culture, that is going to help us play better. You also have to understand, in the last 6 games that we play at this level, it's the first time we're losing. It's actually the first time we're playing have 10-point, 11-point deficit that they have. So I think that got us a bit rattled, but like I said, I'm proud of how we play. We're going to get better. We know our identity now, and we're just going to move on from there.
Talking about moving on from there, he said something about it's the first time they're losing. It's 6 games they played overall, if you add the qualifiers to it, and this is the first time they're losing, and see how they lost. But how long do you think it's going to take them, for them to have that identity? How many losses will happen for them to really have some? Because as you mentioned, Senegal lost, at the group stage, and so they were able to, understand their tactics and understand what they need to change. But they didn't have opportunity to look at what they've done wrong and where to improve on.
Let me pick it up from where Femi left off, preparation. It's not, you don't just jump into it. Yeah, we jumped into Falcons, it worked. We jumped into this aggressive work. It won't work all the time. You need to prepare. We have, like Femi said, this is not the best time. We just hurry, what can we come up with due to the limited time we have? If we prepare,
when players didn't know when camp
exactly.
will start.
If we prepare and plan well, I believe we can do it. The Tigers who won Afrobasket is somewhat embarrassing a bit. We have the talent to do beyond. We have the talent to do much more. But we need to prepare well. You cannot beat preparation. You compare days of prep to months of preparation. If you had won, we would have been saying Niger Spirit, the jam body. But
they work all the
imagine
time.
Adding it to proper preparation. I hope this one is gone. We can't get anything again. Let's hope the next time around we'll prepare. But if you come back again to start talking about the days to the events, we'll still talk about, if only we had done it the right way again.
We keep relying on just talent, and I say it over and over again that talent isn't enough, For instance, Femi, you're so confident that we used to beat Senegal at this stage. But with the little findings I did, Senegal did their own research and said, okay, if we go through the playoffs, there's a possibility we might meet Nigeria. And so they prepared. They had exhibition games, Femi, right here in Europe. They played Poland. They played Italy. They played Lithuania. That's a team that wants to go out and impress. And then it showed off, Let's listen to Stanley Okoye, right after that defeat to Senegal. Then we'll get Femi talking.
I think it's a wonderful tournament. I think Africa needs a tournament like this. I wish this was every year. I love coming back to Africa playing basketball. Unfortunately, sad right now because we lost the game, but, it's a privilege and honor to always come out here and represent Nigeria and play in this tournament. I expected different results today, obviously. For me, the difference in the 2 different competitions 10 years ago, I think is the different experience that we have on the team. In 2013, we had a lot of guys, and in 2015, a lot of them returned. So we have a lot of new faces right now. I haven't played with this team in a while, and it's difficult to build the proper chemistry in such a short period of time. But at the same time, I think we also hit our first road bump in 2015 in the group stage. We lost in the group stage, and it really woke us up. Unfortunately, we lost today, and we can't bounce back from that because the tournament is over for us. But I think that experience and learning within the game and after every game is the difference because, like you said, we weren't tested until today in this way.
Yeah, the Tigers player, Stanley Okoye. Femi, there's just a level talent can take you, and then administration will do the rest, Just before I took that, track of Stanley Okoye, I was telling you how Senegal prepared. But then I was having a look at Jean-Jacques Boiss's career. Femi, no NBA experience, and he plays admirable basketball. Tells you the amount of work Senegal has done to their basketball.
Absolutely. And one thing they also do very well is they have a way of tracking these players, like in terms of, even the general manager doesn't just end with trying to recruit them for the Senegalese national team. They try to find clubs for them to play where they'll be active. in such a way that they use their connections. Okay, you know what? Go and play in France, play with this team. And so they can monitor them, they can help them grow, find them opportunities to improve, which is something Senegal has been deliberate about. And I think I should also make this point because it's converse to, our D Tigress, right? Right now, we seem to be untouchable, unbeatable, but it's not any difference in terms of how we prepare and how we approach it. But what makes the D Tigers, I almost said Falcons, what makes the D Tigers different from the D Tigers is that no African team has the talent pool that we have in women's basketball. If you do an X-ray of college basketball in America, Nigeria has the highest number of foreign players. If you go to the WNBA on an African scale, there are more Nigerians or say players of Nigerian descent in the WNBA than any other African country. So what we have been doing basically is muscling people based off our talent and the exposure. But on the men's side, it's almost parity. So that's
we're
why
doing nothing. Forget it. Don't go.
Them out.
Let me spare you the time, Femi. Don't go into it. I must say thank you so much for your time on the show tonight. We'll have an opportunity to talk basketball again. We'll have you on the show. Thank you, Femi Adefeso.
Always a delight, Austin. Thanks so much.
That's it. Let's go on this quick break. And when we come back, Bolu will jump and continue where our Femi stopped. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Stay. Welcome back, Sports Tonight, on your award-winning sports-loving channels television. We're still having a look at the 2025 Afrobasket Championship. Yeah, it's end of the road for Nigeria's D Tigers, but the show must go on. Bolu, Femi was trying to let us understand the quality that we've got with the women's team. And before Cecilia starts gloating and saying what women can do, we cannot do. That women's team, check Sarah Ogoke, Ezinne Kalu, Victoria Macaulay, some of them are coming from 2011. Sarah Ogoke won her 5th consecutive Afrobasket title with the D Tigress this last time out in Abidjan. But why is it difficult for us to also do the same thing with the men? Now, man, they do, man, Bolu.
There's no other way to argue that because you said it 100%. We need to, the only word to use for it is planning, really. We believe there's, I say it every time, bring in any sports from the alien world, bring it from crypto, wherever, bring it today. Nigerians will participate, but we need a plan. We know this is a 5-year plan. Most administrators will come, oh, I have 4 years to spend. Oh, let's plan for 2 years. No, we need something better than that. Look at what Stan Okwe was saying about, oh, when he came, some of them just came days to the event. There's no chemistry. Unfortunately, they lost in the phase where they cannot come back again. We need time. There's nothing stopping us from doing the same thing the Senegalese do. You look, they said follow who know road in the local parlance. But we are not even following the people that doesn't know road. We are just doing whatever we want. The women talent is not comparable to the men. Not just in basketball, same thing in terms of football, same across almost every sport. There's too much competition in the men's game. And for you to be at the top, you need to do what others are not doing, which means prepare well. I always go back to what Stephen Keshi did with the 2013 squad. Home-based players, they camped them together for months. Go and play your NPFL, come back. That was doing something out of the ordinary. And the talent showed in the end. It is not just by magic that, okay, let's do this thing, let's get ourselves together. No. If we want our basketball to thrive, look at our league. The announced league is starting how many days? We are changing many new formats, days to the competition. How do you expect these teams to prepare well? Then River Supers will come, jam body, everybody win, go to BAL, then the result will turn out well. You hear, oh, Nigerian basketball is not good at all. No, the players are not necessarily the problem. Administration are the major challenge. When we plan well, if we do the right things, prepare properly, believe me, there's nothing stopping us from doing what the women have done at the Women's Afrobasket.
Simple. Cecilia, it's so easy. Yeah, also because there's no need to argue this. It's very easy. All you have to do, build your league. For instance, if you build this league, you'll be amazed at what's going to turn out, when it comes to international competitions. Let's leave that because we'll have a day that will dedicate to basketball on this show. I'm sure that day will come. Yeah. All right, let's leave it and of course talk about this one because we need to talk about this. It's been on for a while, and when especially after Rashida Ajibade's interview, when they say, oh, the money from presidency hasn't come yet, then it blew off and they're like, why have they not been paid? But listen to the chairman of National Sports Commission, Shehu Diko. He's got answers for that. And also those players who have done Nigeria well in the past, they also have something.
There is this conversation that the president should look at the people that have done there before, because they laid the foundation, especially in women football. Nigeria used to be a pace setter on that, with the whole of Africa to do that. So, but, why do you stop if you start? So at the end of the day, it's at the discretion of Mr. President to decide what he wants to do or how he wants to go about it. Ours is to advise as a professionals, and we have to be measured in doing this advice. We have to be realistic about it. If you say you start doing that, you have to roll back, I don't know how many years. But yes, at some point, those that have done very well for the country have to be identified. They don't have to be given money. They can get the national awards, that recognition of the service to the country. That national award, it can open doors for you more than what the money that will be given to do that. So I'm sure at the end of the day, if the framework is ready, if the president is ready to do what he has to do, people will know. We have had a conversation with those people as well and discussed that. So it's not a problem, but we shouldn't make it to look like a mandatory. It's about the president's discretion at this time of the day, because he wants to energize the industry to work. For example, I've seen people now trying to create political negativity over the Falcons, for example, that they have not been paid, this one, that. That is very, very unfair on the president to do that, because the Falcons played a tournament. There is clear bonuses and this that they are supposed to get, and those bonuses that they were supposed to get, they were paid 100%. Everything they were supposed to get from that tournament, even before they played the final. The gifts Mr. President provided and everything inside the president. He didn't say, I will pay tomorrow, I will pay the next day, or I will pay whatever, but definitely they will be paid. And what we did on that one, immediately the president made that pronouncement, the next 2 days, all the account numbers of the players were collected, their addresses were collected, and a schedule was done of who gets what, this is their address, and sent to Mr. President to direct. They should be paid. The money should be paid direct to their accounts, not even through any third party, and also direct the Minister of Housing to issue the land with their addresses, and also direct the Minister of Intergovernmental Affairs to issue the national award to their addresses. That has been done. This president will not allow this to go beyond what is necessary. The process will have to follow, because even if, for example, people now know that the president just say they should be paid money today and the next day they carry money and give them, people should be worried, because there has to be process. There has to be documentation. Or there has to be records. Otherwise, what kind of government are we running? That they will just say pay 100,000 the next day, carry 100,000 and give them from where?
I hope people will get to understand this. Austin, I know you're smiling when you were listening to him, especially the part when he talked about those who've done Nigeria honors in the past. And they are in the process of doing something. But now money, of course, national honors, which, when you have that, imagine OON, where you can actually go with that, kind of national honor anywhere. Open doors,
Well, but then again, it depends on the value that the individual carries, not just about the national honor. I listened to Patience Avery speaking on behalf of the ex-Super Falcons players, and she made a valid statement that I want Shehu Diko to hold on to. She said that the president should correct the mistakes of the past. And there's a line in our play that says the labor of our heroes past shouldn't be in vain. They labored. They laid the foundation for this current Super Falcons players, everything that they're enjoying. There was a Messi Akide before we had Asisa Toshola. There was a Patience Avre before we're having an informal Onumonu now. So I think they have a point. Yes, they shouldn't be entitled, but the country should look after them, So that one is a bit sensitive. It's the discretion of the president if he wants to do something about it. But with this countering of what Rashida Ajibade said on Tuesday's show, I always say that our biggest problem is accountability, transparency. Now the president has said each player will get $100,000. You'll get national honors and you'll get 3-bedroom apartments at the Renewed Hope Estates. NSC, follow through and be open as much as you can. 100,000 US dollars to be paid in equivalent of Naira. The presidency has said it will come at the end of the year. The presidency has said it will be paid in batches. Will that money be taxed? Be open, maybe because I've lived long, I've stayed 5 years now abroad, and I'm seeing how we follow things with process. He mentioned process. They're going to get 3-bedroom apartments. Where? Is it in Abuja? Is it the renewed estates in different parts of the country? We want details. And if Rashida Ajibade is saying, it's not just the $100,000, we haven't received allowances. And Shehu Diko is saying that they were paid in full even before the final. Then where should we go? Who should we believe? But if there are, constant updates, Bolu, this is what we always say. Use the media. And I always say that PR doesn't solve problems. It avoids it. Guys, we have paid, bring captain, bring player. We have given them their allowances. Captain, have we given you, yes or no? Bolu, it's that time we start doing things with transparency, isn't it time?
Well, there's a phrase that information is power, and I say it all the time. Anything you don't tell the media guys, anything you don't tell broadcasters, anything you don't tell journalists, we assume what we think is the right way. Then they start saying, oh, journalists don't like us, this and that. I knew the money from the presidency was not coming immediately, obviously. There has to be a process, there has to be a plan. In fact, not even in fact, the budget for the year is gone already, except there's a way to fuse it into it. So I knew that was not coming immediately. Even for the house, except that the apartments are ready, you just hand them over the keys. I knew that also could take. The one I know they are getting instantly was a national honor. Even if they didn't give you your tag, you can change your name. That one comes automatically. Where I don't know is the match bonus, the allowances during the event itself. I think the money from CAF is yet to arrive. That on the other side, but match allowances, match bonuses, and co. The players said they've not received. NSC chairman said they got it even before the final. One thing is 100% sure. One person is not saying the truth. But whichever way, information is key. Oh, this is what we plan to do. We want to do this A, B, and C period. The presidency promised they will get this, but they'll get it, like you rightly said, by the end of the year, when the next budget is out. So people will start thinking ahead that, oh, this is when I knew it was not coming immediately. The players may not know. I'm sure some person already sending them account number. Just wire me $500 out of your money. Too many questions. But if it's something that we know already, it's easy to think, oh, don't worry, this money is coming in then and now. But at least we know, based on what Shehu Diko has said, they've got the bonuses and allowances already. It's just the presidency money that is yet to arrive. One thing is sure, like I said, one person is saying the truth and one person is not.
I mean, it's actually hard to really say. I mean, as you said, sometimes when you give information to the media, it's easier for them to run with it and it's asking so many questions. Let's just hope they get whatever they need on time. Yeah. Because the worst thing you can do is to kind of, you dangle something in front of someone and he said, no, you're not going to take it. That doesn't...
See, the first thing they need to do now, because most of these players are abroad and they have this foreign mentality, the presidency with the National Sports Commission come out and explain this $100,000. It is very, very important. Let them know that this is not money that will hit their account next month, 2 months, 3 months from now. So, because this will be a big distraction to our football, so they need to find a way to nip it.
Simple, just nip it in the bud, because you're talking about creating different things that's happening. But for it not to happen, you have to fill the vacuum. Once there's a vacuum, people will fill in whatever they want to fill in, and they'll believe what they want to believe. And by the time you start doing damage control, it's too late.
Too late.
All right, let's go to the NPFL, of course. It's starting on Friday. We'll just take a look at some of the games coming up. The major game for Friday, right? We'll take a look at that. It's Remo Stars and Rivers United. That's match day 1 of the Nigeria Premier Football League. I don't know if we have opportunity to actually take a look at some of the teams that are playing in the league this season, because Aqua United is not there. It's not part of the team playing this season. Yes, we needed to do that. It's not part of it. But then we need to also take a look at the head-to-head record of these two teams. I mean, how many times they've met, and also who is going to go home with something, judging from. Sometimes you look at statistics and it tells you, yes, when you look at statistics, sometimes it points the direction of where the two teams will be going this season. Last year, November 17, 2024, Remo Stars and Rivers United, right there in their stadium, it ended goalless. And of course, Rivers played at home earlier earlier this year. That was in April. And, of course, Rivers United winning that by a lone goal. And this is the head-to-head overall for both teams. Now, 10 times they played, and Remo has won just one. Rivers winning 6, and the draw happens to be 3. Both of them drawing each other 3 times, because Remo losing 6 and Remo also losing. Remo Stars losing 6 and Rivers United losing just 1 game. Now, looking at these statistics, sometimes it points to where it will go. Remo Stars, Rivers United, what a way to actually open the season, really.
It's the same feeling we got in the Premier League when Arsenal and you are facing on each other, opening match day. This time, this is even the first game. And on a Friday, I think I'm the happiest person that this game is on a Friday. I tell people the best time we enjoyed NPFL the most was when we had Monday night and Friday night football. Why? Because the weekend you compete with the Premier League, La Liga and the likes. Now it's our Friday, so even before you think of Premier League Chelsea game on Friday, this one would have ended. And it's the first last season versus second. Both of them pushed hard towards the end of the season. Redmond Stars are not playing at the Kennedy Stadium now. They're playing at the MKO Abiola Sports Arena, which means they're both technically playing on the neutral ground, which falls a bit in favor of Rivers United. But if you look at the way Redmond Stars played last season, some of their players, in fact, 9 of them were in the Chan Eagles. It means the synergy, the bond was still technically in the squad. They are fitter ahead of Rivers United in this game. So I don't think they are going to lose. One of those fixtures you think, well, maybe a win or a draw for Remo Stars. But I don't see Rivers United picking up 3 points away from home. But at the same time, Finidi George wants to win the Premier League as well. So don't be shocked if they do anything. But I still don't think Remo Stars will lose at home.
Also, you know, Remo Stars players, the 9 at Chan, and Chan finished, the last game was on Tuesday, right? Well, of course, they bow. I'm trying to remember the headline, the Irene Cavs, you know, bow out with pride or something. They left with pride, pride intact, but after conceding 5 goals. But their coach also was with them. Now, the fatigue, will it not set in? They're playing on Friday. The last game they played was on Tuesday. You have like how many days traveling back? They arrived yesterday, right? Yeah. So this...
I don't think it will, you know, particularly depending on the kind of conditioning that they will get. And, you know, in terms of, you know, weather conditions, not that much with that of Zanzibar, and they are not traveling far from home. Remember, they're going to Abeokuta, so I think they would want to jump into it. Definitely, Alimi should be in that team. Sadiq Ismail should be in that team. Ayowa should be in that team also. So Tochukwu Michael should be in that team to play Rivers United. So if Coach Daniel is fine, he will tell the players that you have to be fine also and execute this game. It's going to be a cracker of a game, you know. And just as Bolu said, I always wonder why the draw, you know, treats us this way. I was saying the Premier League returned here in England and came with a bang. We had Super Sunday right away. And first game of the new NPFL season, and it's the champions versus the runners-up. Can you just help me understand who does this draw? Yeah, but it's a good one to get us talking. Rich conversation. I really do hope they give us beautiful football also. Remo Stars did all the right things last season. Rivers United fought as much as they could, but couldn't, you know, catch up with Remo. But they're a pretty decent team. I just hope that the Rivers State government would give them the sort of attention that they deserve, particularly that they will be competing on the continent. It will be a beautiful game of football, Cecilia. Let's get into the Premier League.
Beautiful game. That's what we're expecting, yes. It wants us to get quickly into the Premier League. It doesn't want us to talk about the teams that are not in the NWFL this season, in NPFL, NPFL this season, because I was looking at the 20 teams. We have some very new names. I mean, when you have a team like Kun Khalifat, maybe tomorrow we'll talk more about that. So let's go to Chelsea.
It's okay. It's okay to bounce. But you know what? I've said it with my NPFL is beautiful series. I'll wear my Aqua United jersey till they return. That is what I'll be wearing to report the NPFL. It's painful.
You can add NNL to your series. That helps.
We'll be reminding them that they have to come back to the NPFL. And you'll see they will return.
So Chelsea and West Ham.
Yes, this stays till they return.
London derby, right?
Yes, big one.
So for Chelsea, let's listen to the coach first. I mean, we'll pick it up from there. Enzo Maresca, they had a goalless game, their opening game. Of course, what was he expecting against West Ham tomorrow night?
Tough game again. All the Premier League games, they are tough. They are difficult. If you remember the game at home last year was a difficult game for us. They defend very well. Tomorrow I expect exactly the same. And again, the Premier League just started, so you can see that they are trying to find some solution in the same way we are doing. For sure, with more time, we're gonna be better and better. But pace where it is, we need to adapt. I think we showed last week against Palace, where until the end we compete, until the end we create chances. And as I said, we're gonna be better and better day after day.
They compete to the end. They compete to the end. Eberechi is, if not for technicality, there's a bit of controversy in that one. But then, at Chelsea?
Well, they tried to explain that in a minute, and I said, why did the ref even allow it in the first place? But this is a fixture between two teams that have to win. West Ham United were embarrassed away from home against Sunderland last weekend. Chelsea could not get a goal at home against Palace on match day one. Now they are going away. It's a London derby. You know that regular phrase that in derby matches, the form is thrown out the window. In fact, some of them don't even have any form. It's a game Chelsea need to win to tell everyone we are the world champions, we are back. It's a game West Ham United need to win to tell everyone what happened on the opening match day was a fluke. The West Ham don't want to get into relegation battle from match day 2 already. So it's going to be very tough. But you still expect Chelsea to turn up. Then, well, maybe it could be back-to-back draws for Chelsea. It's a game that will be very difficult to play. Like the manager rightly said, it was a struggle for them when they played at the Bridge against West Ham last season. And now at the London Stadium, probably Austin will be the one to cover the game. But it's going to be tough. I think it's a game that could end in a draw.
Austin in a draw.
Chelsea need to do just enough to win that one to get their season back. I was listening to analysis on radio from ex-Chelsea players, and they were pretty pissed that they didn't win that opening game at Stamford Bridge. And I'm saying they should be thankful they were lucky not to have lost it, because Crystal Palace were pretty decent and did just enough. And Eberechi would be saying that, oh, that goal should have stood. So it looked like a parting gift to Crystal Palace before moving to Arsenal. But this is the London derby. This sort of game, you never, ever know where it's going. It can go anywhere. So let's listen to Graham Potter. It's West Ham versus Chelsea.
It's the Premier League. With the greatest respect, I don't think we can turn up anywhere and think that, oh yeah, we're going to get 3 points. It's not as simple as that. And whilst we want to, of course we do, and we tried our best to do it, we know we need to do more. In terms of results, we know we need to try and improve our performance. The players were gutted after the game, properly gutted, because there was optimism and there was positivity, and we all understand that when you lose 3-0, well, it'll take a huge effort, a fantastic team performance, always a bit of luck. Whenever you play football, you need a little bit of that as well. But no, it's very simple. We're playing against a top team that are, in a really good moment because they've won Club World Cup, talented squad. So we have to perform well as a team. Balance between attack and defence has to be really good. You can imagine I haven't too much time to reflect on where Chelsea are at. I've been thinking a lot about where we're at. What I know is Chelsea have got a very, very talented manager, a talented squad on the back of a successful summer period. They're constantly investing in the team with young players. So we expect a big challenge.
Yeah, and it will definitely be a big, big challenge. This is one fixture that really gets us talking. Oh, London derbies really do get us talking. So we'll wait for the best team to win, and we'll come to talk about it. Cecilia, I think that's where the curtain falls on this edition of Sports Tonight on Channels Television. We'll be back again tomorrow. Until then, in London, I'm Austin Okonakpa, and in everything you do, remember, let's keep talking sports. Bye for now.
Bolo, it was nice doing this with you again.
Yeah, it's always interesting sitting with you, preparing for the most competitive league in the world, the NPFL.
Do you want to give your prediction for these 2 games you're expecting tomorrow?
Well, for Chelsea, well, maybe, okay, there's something they call double chance. Double chance for Remo Stars tomorrow, same thing for Chelsea.
Double chance, all right. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Have a good night, guys.